everyone, welcome to the In Common Senses podcast. In this new series, Sustainable Living Pod, we collaborate with Sustainable Smart Campus as a living lab in HKUST and explore technologies and projects by faculties and students that create a change to sustainability on campus and beyond. I'm your host, Talia. Agriculture, a topic unfamiliar to many of us urban dwellers in Hong Kong, and yet closely influences our daily lives for the obvious reason. We eat every day. However, did you know that the global food systems accounted for 31% of human-made greenhouse gas emissions in 2019, according to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization? And aside from sustainability, did you know that around 78% of the world's poorest people live in rural areas and rely largely on agriculture? These days, novel and data-driven technologies on food production are being explored and developed quickly, with the aim to minimize the carbon footprint contributed by agriculture, explore the possibilities of urban farming, alleviate social stress such as farmers' quality of life, and solve economic problems including poverty in rural areas. Joining us today is Professor Zhongming, the Assistant Professor from the Division of Environment and Sustainability in HKUST. Their project, Aquaponics in HKUST, offers a possibility for more efficient agriculture. Thank you for being here today with us. So let's start off with a brief introduction on your project. So can you first introduce what your project is about and what is the journey like?
Okay, great. Thanks. It's my honor to be here to share some news about our smart aquaponics system. So this system is how we can grow vegetables and raise fish at home or anywhere indoor of the building. We would like to use internet-based technology to monitor and to manage this system so that we can have a good fruits or vegetables or fishes in the house.
So, how is it like? Because I heard initially it was a project for a Cambodia trip, and then it now gradually become, something that was adopted by the conference lodge. So, how was that whole process like?
I think in this journey, in the first few trials, we aimed to demonstrate the feasibility of this facility on campus.
Right.
And then we are undergoing several experiments to test how easy it is for the hotel managers, for our students to play with this facility on campus. And the journey is still ongoing to verify its benefit to our community.
Right. So what are the expected impacts if this technology is fully commercialized?
I would say the IoT or smart aquaponics system provide multiple aspects of benefits to the communities and to the society. First, it creates a really low impact food system, food choices for the citizens. On the other side, that it also provides a good education chances that let our students and even in the future citizens really understand how we can develop this technology for a variety of communities in Hong Kong and in other dancing cities.
Right. I think we will definitely go back to, the educational value of this project. But as of right now, how can campus members participate in this project that you're working on?
So in order to get more of our students involved in this project, now we are trying our best to make sure that the system is reliable to manage so that we can leave more freedom to the students and hotel manager to explore a lot of options, such as I want to plant some flowers, so how can I try it?
Yeah.
Or I want to try some other type of fishes, so can I do that? And how can I get my data to verify, I do benefit this food choices by this experiment.
like, can you first perhaps explain about the technology behind the aquaponics system in just layman terms?
Okay. The principle of this system is relatively straightforward. Is that we raise fish, and then the wastewater from fish contains a lot of nutrients, and we use some simple treatment technologies, and now the water can be used. The nutrients in the water can be absorbed by the plants.
Okay.
And then the cleaned water will go back to the fish tank for the fishing. So this is the basic principle. However, the control of these nutrients or water quality and water quantity is the key to the success of the system.
Right.
So that's why we introduced the internet-based technology to understand the data and the performance of the system. Of course, we can add more things on top of this system, like how can we use camera to monitor the health of the fish or the health of the vegetable, so that we can have even more smarter control of the nutrients as well as the water flows.
What are the existing technology stuff that it is currently implementing?
Okay, the current technologies we include in the system, including the lighting technology. So if the system becomes stable, I hope in the next 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
So you can try different combination of lighting, like a red, blue, and white. You can try to test how the light wave can change the food growth. Okay.
Interesting.
And we also include multiple sensors to monitor water quality, and you can, based on the water quality, like the pH or the dissolved oxygen, you can tell how healthy the system can be based on this data. The water quality is well controlled, so that we are make sure that the food is healthy to eat, because most of the the vegetable we want to use as salad. So it should be directly editable after some simple washing. That's why it's necessary to make sure that the microbeing and the bacteria cannot be there. So we ensure the safety of the food.
All right. So, like, in terms of the current system, what kind of crops are you growing? I mean, like, what specific salad food are you growing, and like what kind of fish is being used? Like, can we eat the fish at some point?
Based on our last few months experiment, we only run the golden fish.
Okay.
We are not. We hope we can try some editable fish in the future. Most of the time we focus on vegetables, which is like lettuce.
Okay.
We also try some mint as well. Recently, I also added some flowers. So we also have some editable flowers as well.
Yeah.
We're gonna do grow some editable flowers on that system as well.
Right. So actually, I want to ask, what is the difference between aquaponics and hydroponics?
Here, we would like to create more opportunity of circularities. So in one of the principles of sustainable development is how can we circulate the materials and waste. I mean, there's no waste actually. So how can we circulate the materials in the human and the nature systems? So that's why I want to try this opportunity of expanding this circularity in human food system. Well, aquaponic system, it's good that its impact of like nutrification should be smaller than the soil-based planting. However, aquaponic systems create more opportunities on circularities.
Right.
For instance, one thing in the future we want to try is that we can use the food waste to produce some nutrients for fish and feeding these systems so that we are creating a real impactful circularities of developing the food system.
Okay, that's the essence of sustainability. So, next I want to move on to some questions regarding urban agriculture in general, as well as some more specific ones to the aquaponic system. So the first one is the readiness of the technology for sustainable benefits and also like the readiness to the market, not just like your aquaponics project, but also I guess aquaponics systems in general. So yeah, how does this technology, matureness like right now?
Well, this is a good and challenging question. Industry is testing the idea of smart aquaponic technology. It's not something really new today. However, this technology is still facing some financial and technology challenges. One is that this technology is too expensive. Okay, so it doesn't really create equal opportunity for the citizens like in Hong Kong to enjoy this organic food.
Yeah.
A really impactful technology should be financially sustainable and socially inclusive. So that at this moment, this technology is not that ready for that standards.
Right.
Then the second aspect is that this technology is only limited in a few options. Options of vegetables, so lettuce, someone also trying tomatoes. Fish is also a limited options.
Right.
However, for us, we eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
We have a lot of choices. And for instance, in Hong Kong, people like seafood. But we cannot try to raise seafood. Okay, in aquaponics system because it's a freshwater system.
Right.
Okay. So its impact on changing or disrupting existing food supply is still unknown. So most of the time we consider this as emerging technology.
Okay.
However, we hope that this technology can be disruptive. So we are still need a lot of investments. That's why we also are looking for our young generation to join us, really spend time on how we can make the system disruptive so that we can really create a new emerging infrastructure for the citizens.
Right. So I guess your team has made some progress, as I guess it went from just, a simple prototype in the lab all the way to, currently being adopted by hotels and restaurants, including the conference lodge here, managed by Nina Group. So, what was that process like? What was this journey like to bring it from a lab to implement it on campus?
Well, I think this is a really good experiences. For myself, as a researcher, I'm keen to answer questions like how can we balance the system and what are technology we can try to monitor the system and maximize its benefit. However, from the hotel perspective, they want to make sure that this system is reliable, is easy, and to maintain this system. So we have different perspective. We want the system to be better and better, but from the user perspective, make it easier for them to maintain.
Yeah.
And attractive people is more important. So in this case, how are we going to meet different requirements for us? Because we want to know how to run experiments. But from the hotel perspective, they want to attract their clients and create more good reputations in this area. So it's a combination of the interest. However, sometimes it's not an easy task to complete.
Right.
But eventually we did it. I
Yeah.
think it's quite a decent that we eventually find a opportunity to play with this new technology.
Right. Yeah, I guess, adopting sustainable technology is always this conflict of interest and compromising and collaboration of different stakeholders. So what are some very specific challenges attached to this journey?
Well, this is something we are still trying to improve. Is actually this system requires some level of scales to managing the growth of vegetables. So where the vegetable grow bigger and bigger, we have to harvest it.
Right.
And then we're going to have another round of new cultivation. It's not that hard science or knowledge, but it is challenging for the managers to take look at all the data and say, whether the system is stable, healthy. So in this case, what we should do is we want to create some key indicators.
Right.
And based on this indicator, and the manager can take right action. So this is something we try to deliver from running this system. It's not just say this equipment, just put it there. No, all the sustainable systems require good knowledge of maintenance.
Right. I kind of heard that you guys are also trying to get certifications for the vegetables too, because it's grown in an open environment and there might be human contact, and you need to ensure that it's edible. So how is that the process, like the paperwork process?
Well, the paperwork is not a bigger problem. As you mentioned, our facility now is in an open environment. So making sure that some lettuce are healthy to eat is important. So we're going to test the content of bacteria on the leaf of the vegetable. So once we make sure this is healthy to eat, of course, after multiple tests, we will try some of testing by the clients.
Yeah.
On the other side, we also quite be aware that is maybe there is some bacteria. So instead of planting these editable vegetables, we can also try other things like try the flowers, and this is also an opportunity of doing such fun things indoor in an open environment.
Right. So I think in general there is this common belief that businesses that focuses on sustainability cannot be profitable, because they have this idea that if we prioritize sustainability in the environment and social aspects, costs will be too high and demands will be too low. So in what ways does this project can demonstrate how a green business can also be profitable? And I think like what you mentioned before, and whether this can be a disruptive technology for the foreseeable future.
Well, I think it's reasonable for business to pursue sustainability. So far, after multiple years, people don't think sustainability is a burden to company. Instead, it's an opportunity for the business. However, as we experiment, sustainability is not that easy. It's not just say I give you a technology and you use it and you solve problem. No, it's not in that way. It's always adaptive management procedures. Means that we always want to make sure as a system, either the business of supply chain or our new infrastructures are well maintained. It's a system. Okay, we should practice this system thinking to managing the assets, manage our new technologies. So in this way, we are actually using this approach to create more profit and also create more opportunities. Instead of saying it's a burden, it's not a financial burden. So in the real case for our systems, we want it to be profitable in the long run. And from our understanding, it can be. and it requires us to really balance the fish production versus the vegetables. Theoretically, if we have more valuable fish, it can be profitable, because now the system every day only consumes 12 kilowatt hours. Electricity means only 12 Hong Kong dollars. Okay. If we have more good valuable fishes, so it can be profitable.
Right. Then, there's this thing about greenwashing in companies. I think yesterday we also had a brief conversation about that, a lot of companies who claim they're sustainable are actually not really doing that much. They're really just making these claims, and they're just talking and talking. So what's your views on, this situation, this phenomenon that's happening in the business world right now?
I think there is some reasons for this. First of all, I think business want to be sustainable, and however, the options for them to try is limited. Because their business, their infrastructure has been there for many years. It's not easy to change them suddenly. So it's adaptive procedures. But on the other side, there's no one single technology that I can give to someone and immediately change their performances or their carbon emission footprint. So it's I would say it's gradually, collaboratively, and deeply involved procedures for companies, in particular working with academics, in particular, because academic creates some innovative idea, but it's not that ready.
Right.
So waiting for the academic to make the technology ready, it's not that faster. So getting the company really interested and nurturing the technology in the universities is I think it's important to do this sustainable business.
I think previously we also talked about circularity and how this can be a great education to illustrate that. So as many of us in Hong Kong are perhaps not that familiar with the agriculture industry, and living in a rather rich urban city, we generate a great amount of food waste on a daily basis. So how can this system serve as an educational material for the general public, especially for campus students?
I think this is also something we try to create. Okay, we would like to get our students involved in growing the vegetable from seed.
Yeah.
Okay, how are we going to do that? And also based on our internet-based things to track the data, so they know how much electricity the whole process are using, and also the water quality. Because based on water quality, we can also do some environmental impact assessment. Okay, so this is something I hope that our students can really get involved in this process. Of course, we also see now we talk a lot about the AI, artificial intelligences. It's actually a good methodologies that require a vast of data. For our system, we create a lot of data.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's also another opportunity that for students to try cross-disciplinary experiment. Means, okay, when I'm studying data science, I just only look at the data.
Yeah.
But we can also bring new scenario of looking data in another sector. Okay, maybe the application is not that say a fundamental change to the algorithms, but applying to the other sector requires some innovation of transforming some existing algorithms that particularly for aquaponics systems. And sometimes our data is also not that comprehensive most of the time, and we need to put more sensors. So this creates a cross-disciplinary opportunities for environmental management students, for computer science, agriculture, biotechnologies, and water treatment, environmental engineering. So it's really a system for cross-disciplinary learning experiment.
Right.
It's not just say I learn computer science so I can manage this system. It's not say I'm a water treatment facility people so I can manage the system. No, it's a cross-disciplinary project.
Right. Yeah. I feel like the nature of, sustainability as a field is quite cross-disciplinary in nature. But yeah, like what do you feel about, how the current system is not just, in academia, but also in industries or, in places that does these technology developments. How do you think right now our world is, solving this issue in an interdisciplinary way, or what other improvements do you think that people can do better?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think this is not an easy question as well. It requires a long-term efforts of nurturing cross-disciplinary generations. Now, I think in the university, we are trying to create this environment. Meanwhile, we also, as a faculty, when I try to find good collaborators, good students to work with, I find that most of the time we want to stay within our single discipline so that we can build our reputation rapidly. However, most sustainable problems is not a problem for single discipline.
Yeah.
So it requires cross-disciplinary skills to understand the solution.
Right.
So in this sense, what we want to do is that in the future, we can bring in more cases, more projects. Okay. Well, we still need to learn disciplinary-based knowledge, but how can we expand the experiment? Okay, to really understand. By solving this problem, I really understand the value of cross-discipline. So I need to better organize my curriculums, better understanding how I should develop some projects with my good friends or on campus. So this kind of learning experiment, we should find more opportunity.
Right. Nice. So we just discussed more about urban agriculture, and we also delved into sustainability education on campus and beyond, and the cross-interdisciplinary nature of sustainability. Now, I wanted to move on to rural agriculture. So I believe agriculture industry in rural areas are really the main providers of food supply for us. So just personal opinion, sometimes I'm quite skeptical towards smart agriculture technologies because I feel like, a really pressing issue lies in alleviating poverty and delivering the appropriate technology to farms in rural areas, which, they are the ones that are primarily sourcing our food production for the majority of our population. And I feel like sometimes smart technologies can only be implemented on a much smaller scale in urban areas like Hong Kong. So what is your view towards the agricultural industry on the global scale? And what are some of the more, pressing challenges that they're facing, and how do you think we can solve that?
Well, this is a big question. Okay. As a researcher, we consider agriculture system as a coupled human nature system. It involves farmers, natures. Now the agriculture faces the stress from climate change, more severe drought or more frequent flooding. Okay. You mentioned about the smart technology. I agree on your statement that smart technology is not a perfect or the only solution for agriculture. Okay. We should not depend on future technology to solve the problem of today. Okay. Because the problem we are facing is always changing. What we should practice is adaptive management.
Right.
Okay, to consider the social, environmental, and economic trade-offs. Okay, so like in some developing countries, the problem of their system agriculture is the low productivity. Okay, however, we also complain that eating fertilizers can cause a problem of eutrophication.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, actually, we can try some good technologies, existing technology. Okay.
Yeah.
How we can improve the efficiency of the fertilizers and with some irrigation technologies. However, now the problem is the financial issues. Okay, there in developed countries they do not have good financial resources.
Yeah.
Okay, but then the financial people industry will say, what's the benefit? Or what's the seems the revenue is not that attractive to invest versus other project, right?
Yeah.
So now the problem is always the a good combination of technology, society, and the resources.
Right. Yeah, I really agree on your point on, how a lot of businesses don't want to invest in these stuff, or I think the world in general don't want to invest in, technologies that can help build a more resilient agriculture system because they don't think it generates any profit or value. And also I feel like a lot of policies as well. So yeah, I personally had some interesting experiences relating to agriculture. So like I took a course in UST called SITE, Student Innovation for Global Health Technology. So then our team were to create a prototype that aims to strengthen food security in Hanthana, which is a mountain range that is located in Kandy, Sri Lanka. So it's more like a rural village area that they're basically, we realized they're mostly doing them for their own self-sustaining purposes, but not like a commercially large scale. So I think through communicating with like different stakeholders there, agricultural department staff, and also the local villagers and how they're doing it. So we kind of realized that, a lot of problems that they're having, or a lot of the solutions they're implementing are very simple or very straightforward, but then they're quite, effective as well. So I just wanted to know, what are the ways that academia and agricultural technologies can work together with these smallholder farmers, or like how can academia and smart technologies elevate these simple technologies that these farmers are currently using?
Okay. I think this is a real good question, and really require us to field experiment, understand what the causes of this problem. So one thing is that smart technology sometimes can be stupid. Okay, it's not smart.
Yeah.
Okay, because it requires some level of expertise to use that technology. Okay. In developing countries, their farming system, in particular smaller farmers, indeed they are more vulnerable to climate change. Okay, and they do not have a good knowledge about climate change and how to be prepared for that things. Okay. So we can look at the different levels. For me, I always consider this as a system management issues. Okay. Technology is one instrument, but we need to manage this system smartly. So the local farmers and the small farmers should have some good support of these knowledges, and then also I think it's about the cultures, the societies. There's a lot of causes that why they would choose this model rather than the other one. Changing the culture, changing the lifestyle is not easy. Okay?
Yeah.
So I think it's not there is no single answer for your question. And what we should do is we should go to the field studies and really find one specific problem, and then solve them one by one. Okay, but in generally, I think the agriculture in the futures, we are going to very diverse directions. Okay, we are looking at indoor controlled farming, like what we are doing. We're also doing some plant-based meat. We also all these are for cities, high dense populations. We also try some climate resilient farming facilities, which can be used for developing countries, while requiring some financial support. So we are trying different ways of doing agricultures. Okay, and hopefully through a smart combination of these technologies. In cities, in rural areas, we are really create a more diverse supply of food while more climate resilient.
Right. Yeah, I think actually experiencing it, going to field trips and actually seeing the situation is quite important, because I think, as people living in Hong Kong with very limited access to or experiencing with, how farming is actually done, there's issues that you see in, these places that you totally didn't really expect. Like, once again, that Sri Lanka trip, like, one of the issues one of our teams is solving is peaphows, because it was a sacred animal there, but then they eat and destroy crops, and they're proposing a solution to try to solve that. So it's something that personally, as someone in Hong Kong, I've never thought about, peacocks being a problem or a huge problem or a big challenge for agriculture. And how you can't just use very, so-called straightforward solutions like, let's just like kill them all off or stuff like that. But you have to really step into, their shoes and their point of view and their values to solve around this problem. So it's definitely not just, a very straightforward one, but it's, involving different stakeholders in not just in rural areas, but also in urban areas and religion, policy, stuff like that. So just now we were talking about smart technologies in developing nations, but so what are some differences between agricultural technologies in rural areas that are used in developing versus developed nations?
I think one of the example you mentioned, I will consider it is a balance between religion and the livelihood requirement. And the technologies between developed and developed countries are significantly different. It requires substantial knowledge of using these modern machinery technologies for farming. I think now the problem is how we are going to address this unequal access to this knowledge and the resources.
Right.
This is also something we try to prove in our project, is that our aquaponics system is not just designed for some people can afford it. We want to be if it wants to be a facility for the city, create a real impact. That this system should be scaled up, and everyone can have access to this facility.
Right.
So the similar case of the developing and the developed countries. So the unequal access, to this machine and the knowledge is a problem. That's why there is a lot of volunteers. Go to different countries, try to share their knowledges. To help the local farmers being more prepared.
Right.
I think we have some good stories. Even in China, also a lot of farmers go to Africa, share the knowledges with locals. I think this kind of transfer learning, transfer experiment, is important. It's also something we always argue. There's no say one solution works in one region, and then we should immediately adopt here. There's no such immediate transfer. So this transfer is also valuable, innovative. Don't consider this is as something, someone did it, so I don't think this is innovative. No, it's innovative. Because this transfer procedures involves unique conditions in other area. So the knowledge structure will be modified. This is innovative. And this is something people also try to do, is transfer the experiment in some developed areas to less developed areas. And in this case, we are creating more equal opportunities for both. Because learning is also a process. So getting improved is important, rather than say, I want to immediately achieve a certain goal. Keep improving is a good direction. And this transfer learning requires time and education. So it's not something we can immediately done.
Right. Lastly, since my podcast is called The Uncommon Senses, is there anything that is, counterintuitive or challenges your common sense while working on the Aquaponics and HKUST project? Or what is your hot take and philosophy towards sustainability nowadays in education, the industry, and academia?
I will always classify myself as cross-disciplinary scholar. I do not have disciplinary label. I'm a scholar, try to look at the technology that can be disruptive to the cities, to the regions. So we are trying to leverage the multidisciplinary knowledges and create our new essential practices and models, technologies for the cities, for the citizens to managing this transition. So in this case, I would say sustainability is not just about technology. Okay? One technology does not solve the sustainability problem. It can solve a problem, but it cannot solve the sustainability problems we are facing, the scale of the problem we are facing. So that to do this, we need more generations who can be the leader of doing this, of cross-disciplinary, and really figure out a solution, okay, for sustainable development that can be implemented, can be scaled up. Okay, so such a leadership is something I really hope, okay, in the future at EST we are going to have more such generations, okay, to do this.
Yay! Thank you, Professor Zhongming, for the discussion on the Aquaponics and HKUST project today. From today's podcast, we not only explored the theories behind the project, but also delved deep into the pressing questions in urban and rural agriculture and learned the interconnectedness between different stakeholders. We hope you guys enjoyed this enlightening conversation with Professor Zhongming and can appreciate all the hard work behind the food you're consuming. Make sure to follow Sustainable Smart Campus's socials, that is SSC_HKUST on Instagram, and we will see you next time on The Uncommon Senses.